Greetings, everyone. This is Transgo Jobot with Graf-X Motion, and we're bringing you another live stream today. My setup here is actually really crazy. So if you see me turning my head that way a lot, that's because this is where my chat screen window is. It's way kind of behind me. So needless to say, I'm probably going to miss a lot of comments and questions during the sessions when I'm working because I will not even be seeing them pop up over here on the side of me. So I just wanted you to be aware of that straight ahead. Also, I know that there's cameras in the way, but we're not going to keep the camera on this thing for very long, so don't worry. We're going to be getting to the good stuff. So what I have here is a scene that is part of my upcoming Vector Sigma Volume 2. Let me just give you a quick update on me and where things have been. I know my channel's been a little bit quiet lately in the past few weeks. That has primarily just been due to life and work and just the kids getting back to school and all the stuff that kind of just goes with getting in a new routine. So it's been a lot of work stuff too. So we've just been really busy, and so I've been doing what I can when I have time. Last weekend I didn't get to do any animation, and it really bummed me out. But this weekend I've managed to get some more stuff done. I'm a little over halfway done with the project. I think I'm targeting for sometime in October to release Vector Sigma Volume 2. I'm waiting on a figure that's may or may not even be out by then, so that's going to kind of dictate when this is done. But I just wanted to at least address kind of where things have been. I have a whole stack of reviews I've been meaning to get to, but I've been really trying to stay focused on whenever I have free time to really make the animation continue on, because that is my main thing. I'm an animator first. I do reviews for fun. I'm not trying to be competitive in the review arena or anything like that. So, but yeah, so we'll go ahead and get started here in just a few seconds. Let me see if I have any quick questions I can answer right now. Let's take a quick look here. Yes, Omega Prime, it has been a while, so I apologize that it's been so long. But I don't like doing these all the time because it does slow me down quite a bit when I do a live stream. But today we're going to, once we actually get into things, you're going to see me ignoring you guys a lot more this time around and getting to work a little bit more. Because I really, while I want to teach you guys and actually show you things that I'm doing, to be quite honest with you, what I'm going to do today, I've never done this before. So I'm going to completely be making this up as I go. So expect to see a lot of struggling, me making things up. And this is kind of one of those shots that's going to be either really awesome when it's done, or it's going to be really terrible. And so it may be one of those that I end up redoing. So we'll find out. But let's see. Does anyone have any quick questions on where things are at, or the channel in general, or did I answer all those for you guys? Or TF Rival. Yeah, so Transformers Rivals is never meant to be a series. It was always meant to be a one and done. And people keep asking for more, so I am going to do at least one more. I may end it after one more, but what I would like to do is, the problem with Rivals is I never had a story. It just started with them chasing each other, and then I decided to have them shoot, or Barricade shoot Bumblebee, and then I decided this, and then I decided it was never meant to be anything. And so it was just meant to be a little fun thing for a trailer for a contest, and then eventually it was a subscriber special. It wasn't really meant to be anything special. So with that being said, I have to think a little bit more on what I want to do for Rivals Part 2. I actually do have an idea, and I am planning on doing that. I did finally manage to pick up just yesterday. I finally got my own Nitro Zeus character who will be in the next Rivals. And I picked up Scorn too. I haven't decided if I'm going to put him in there. And but I am trying to get my hands on Cogman, the new Bumblebee, and Crosshairs, and maybe Drift. I haven't decided on Drift yet, but I don't want to outnumber the Decepticons too much. So, but anyway, so that's kind of where I'm at with the whole Rivals thing. I'm just trying to stick with movie 5 characters if at all possible. I may throw in a character or two from before that, but that's kind of where that's at right now. What frame rate do I shoot? Well, I typically shoot at 24 frames per second. Sometimes it goes a little bit higher, sometimes it goes a little bit less. I shoot it at 24, but sometimes I retime it based on if it looks right. Sometimes it looks a little too fast or a little too slow, and so I'll retime it in order to make it look a little bit more appropriate. So, yes, I do typically add motion blur at the very end of the project. So I don't do it until I'm right before I'm ready to release it, and then I add in motion blur just to give it that little extra touch of realism. Let's see. Yeah, normally I am not a go with the flow kind of guy. I don't usually do well without planning it out ahead, because then I go nowhere fast. And so if I have a plan, it goes much better when I have a plan. This scene that I'm about to do, this shot right here, is part of a plan. But the next 9 or so seconds after this, I scrapped it. So I have to come up with a completely new off the script plan for that, because I wanted to change how I didn't want him just driving, because that's basically what I had him. I had him driving down the road, and I want Prowl to do more. So I decided to make more happen with Prowl along his way to getting to Thundercracker. So that's what I'm doing here, and I'll show you guys a little bit about that here as we get moving on the clips. Let's see. Hey, yeah, sorry, I know it's a school night. So Sunday afternoons for me. This is a Sunday afternoon around 4 p.m. and it's getting close to that. And so this is usually my best animation time, is right in the middle of Sunday. So this is also the best time for me to do a live stream. So let's see. Yeah, if I will definitely be looking for voice actors for Rivals. I need a voice actor for Nitro Zeus. If someone has a good Cogman, like you say, if you have a good Cogman voice, I'm willing to listen to it and hear what you sound like. I've been getting pickier on my voice actors, so don't feel bad if I don't choose you. It's nothing personal. Oh, it's 10 o'clock at night already for you? Ouch. Yeah. You might have to watch this on a different day than watch the replay of this one. So. But, all right. Other than that, I think we'll go ahead and then get started. So what my plan is once I get started, I'm going to basically be pretty focused on what we're going to do. And then every 5 or 10 minutes or something like that, I'll go back. I'll look over some of the comments and questions there. So hopefully I don't get too far past your questions. But yeah, so we'll just kind of go from there. Let me show you kind of what I have set up as far as the scene, and kind of give you an idea what we're trying to do here. So let me make a few changes here to the camera view. All right, so switching over to my iPhone here, sitting here. So this is basically the set I have. I'm just going to move this around here. So as you can see, here's my set. I have Prowl here, and he's going to be running through here. He's going to be doing some stuff here up towards this gas station, and Thundercracker then sits here at the end of the road. And so I already have a lot of those scenes shot, and most of them from the other angle. But yeah, so now this is all the shots that are on that side of the road. So we're going to start with this one where Prowl's going to run up. He's going to kind of use the wall in this building to help him do a flip, and he's going to transform while in midair and land as a car. So that's what we're going to do today. Is we're going to do this running jump transformation in midair. So just back down. I'm going to now switch over to my MacBook screen. And so here is my view of Dragon View here. So this is my, as you can see, let me turn on the, click in here and do the live view back on. So now it's live, you can see my hands in there. And so what we're going to do here is we need to do a few things to set up and get prepared for this shot before we can actually start shooting it. So first of all, I'm going to make sure all my props and things are out of the background. First step. Here's my blob of putty that we're going to be using during this session here. And so here's Prowl, and we're going to have him animated doing a run sequence, probably 2 or 3 steps. I will check the soundtrack that I have for that, and then we'll plan him out, using this part of the wall here to put up a foot up against it, and then for him to push off. So he'll do something to the effect of going up like this, and then pushing himself off, spinning in this direction, and then transforming into a car and landing here. So that's the basic premise. And what I may end up doing is when I get him about here or even down to here, what I might end up doing is switching the camera angle at that point and then finish the transformation in the land in a different camera angle, since it's kind of getting off screen and I want you guys to be able to see this in all of its glory. So that is this part there. Let's see. Alright, and so what we need to do here, and so what I did on this building is this is the cinema that I use on a lot of shots. I just took off some of the signage and I replaced the glass, so it kind of makes the building look a little bit different, so not every building appears the same. But I only have so many buildings, so I have to reuse a lot and use different sizes. This is another building. It's in a lot of them, and I just flip it to the back, and that's going to be this side. So you have the green screen on. There was a little bit up here in the corner that I wasn't able to quite put in the frame, and then if I wanted to expand this up a little bit, I could. But that way, if depending on how the action looks, I might just end up pulling the camera view in a little bit and just cutting that part out, so I don't have to worry about the green screening. So we'll see as I go into post on that one and see what that looks like. Hey Graf, bye Graf. Hi and bye. All right. So let's go ahead, and there's a few things we need to do to the scene. So obviously we got some of the background stuff out of there. One thing I do want to mention is it's very important on what you're wearing when you do animation. Because we deal with plastic toys, this is all plastic, this is all plastic, it's very reflective. You can see the reflections of people's arms and hands through the buildings and the glass all the time. They reflect everywhere. And ideally, I'd be wearing long black sleeves right now, but it's really hot in here, so I don't want to. But I do have a black t-shirt on, I have black shorts on, and so hopefully, as long as I keep my arms down below the table, that I'm hoping that it won't actually be in the way and it won't reflect onto the walls. Otherwise, you'll get these flashes happening in the walls during your stop motion. And that has plagued me through all my stuff because I use a lot of light, and so the downside of using a lot of light is you get a lot of reflection. So, but it also looks better with a lot of light, in my opinion. So, all right, so let's get the camera configured the way we need it. So we're going to go to the camera tab here. We're going to check out our settings. I'm just going to, first of all, I'm just going to hit a test shot button here. I'm going to look on my camera, turn on my camera screen here, and according to my light meter on my camera, I am just a touch too bright by 1 notch. But what I want to do is I want to see how sharp the background pieces are. So that's kind of important. So when you're doing green screen, what you do not want is the stuff in the background to be blurry, because if you have it blurry, your green screen is going to actually have a hard time being nice and crisp, and you won't get as good of a key out of it. So you want it to be pretty sharp. This is getting a little bit on the blurry side. I could probably live with this just because it's only a small spot, and I could just mask that square if I needed to. So I'm going to leave this as is, but otherwise I would have to increase this this part here, which is I believe this is the aperture, and so I would want to move it up to more like closer to 22. But as you do that, notice that when you take the picture again, it gets much darker. See, here's the same picture with the aperture increased. It's sharper in the background, but now it's darker, and so you either have to leave the shutter open longer to capture more light, or you need to change the ISO settings, and that's how you would adjust for that. But I think we're going to keep it at 16 for now, and take one more test shot. Now the main part of the action, yeah, it's looking pretty good. Let me just take this. Oh, it's the wrong way. Okay, now I'm right in the center of my light meter where I like to be. So right here at this setting. So the other thing I need to do is start checking on focus. So we need to get all the focus figured out exactly how we want that set first. So then we could take our clean plate. And the clean plate is critical to making this work. So we're going to put him over here. And let me switch back to the live view here. So we're going to put him over here where he's going to be in most of his mid-air transformation. The part I want to make sure shows up the best. So we're going to put him roughly where that mid-air transformation is. We're going to take this box, put it right over the top of him, and let this zoom in, and then I can manually adjust the focus to make sure it's as crisp as I can make it. That looks pretty good. All right. So then we can go ahead and zoom back out here. So now that he's more in focus, what we need to do is we need to take our clean plate. So we're going to start by removing everything else out of the frame. So we're going to take Prowl out of the frame. What I like to do, like I have my control for my Dragon frame here. This is where I take my pictures from. I keep that just off screen where it's easy for me to reach. But I will put this and keep this in the right spot, right off screen, because if it casts any shadow or my hand casts a shadow when I'm pushing the button, see, you could see my hand in the reflection right back here. No matter what I do, there's going to be some. So I'm going to have to really worry about that. I'm going to have to think about where I'm placing my hand and what position I'm putting my hand. Otherwise, you're going to see this little motion right here like this all the way throughout the whole thing. And we don't want motion in the reflections back here. So the name of this program, this is Dragon Frame. So I do all my capturing in Dragon Frame, all my editing in Final Cut Pro. Dragon Frame's expensive. It's about $300 and worth every single penny. So, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and take this shot here as a clean plate. I don't care about things like down here in the corner. Let me point with the right thing. So right here in the corner, there's a little bit showing here. I think what happened was I probably bumped my camera slightly from where I wanted it. I think I want it more like that. So I'm going to delete that clean frame that I took before, and I'm going to take another one. Alright, and so we have that. Now the only downside is I have a little bit of my desk showing right here. Maybe what I'll do is I'll put in a little plate there. doesn't really matter which one it is. Just gonna take a road piece here, just slide it in, so it just looks like it's part of the scene. I'll just put it on down there. There, that looks better. So now I gotta redo my clean plate. Alright, now the other thing is if I bump the camera at all, or change the focus at all, I will also have to take a new clean plate. That's something I'll have to be conscious of, and if I don't do stuff like that, things won't line up when you go to take out the armatures or anything that you're using to hold up the figure, and it's not going to be as nice. Man, I can really see a lot of stuff in here. I might have to actually keep this down underneath the table. So I'm going to keep my keypad below the table, so hopefully my arm doesn't show when I'm, yeah. See, now I don't have this reflection in there. So, alright, so I'm going to have to take my pictures down here. Alright, so now I have my clean plate. Yay, finally. Okay, so then next thing we need to do is I need to load in my soundtrack. This is what I'm actually going to use to animate against. So we're going to go over here, load in my soundtrack. And here's my soundtrack that I exported. And we're going to start this on frame 2, just because my first one's my blank. Alright. So, there we have our soundtrack. Now you can see it here on the side. It's all loaded in and ready to go. If we scrub through it, we can hear kind of some of the stuff in it. Now it's basically, this is what it sounds like. So it's mostly steps and then the transformation. So that's really what we're looking for. So what we need to do is find those steps. And my with all the live stream and everything running, my computer is not happy with me and it's not scrubbing very smoothly. So you might have to do this a slightly different way. Yeah, this is probably the transformation right there. Okay, so what I'm going to do before we do this part, I'm going to show you the actual scene in Final Cut. So what I'm doing is I have a hand-drawn shot here where I'm basically going to do this section here. It's these frames here is what I'm working on, and so that's in essence what we're doing. So I can then know that if I look at just these here, it's exactly 1 second before my transformation begins. So my transformation basically begins at the 25th frame, or really close to it. So if I flip back over to Dragon Frame now, this 25th or 26th frame, somewhere right in here, is where my transformation begins. So I'm going to say TF begin. So this has got to be a step then, right here. And I'm guessing this is a step. And there's probably one more in here too. So this one I'll probably just have to adjust the sound effect to match. So I'm going to have 1 step, 2 step, 3 step. This is going to be the one on the wall. Wall. All these notes just help me remember where things go when I'm animating and how far I need to be. And I think that is what I need. As far as recommendations of voice actors, that's tough because everyone has their own interpretation of what sounds good and what doesn't sound good. So what I would say is just, watch some various stop motions that are out there, and if you like that prime voice in particular, or if that sounds like the version that you're going for, then I would look in the credits. Usually, a lot of times they'll put who voice acted those parts in the credits, and then hit those up. They're often the YouTube name, so I would definitely go and do that. So hopefully that helps you. It's not exactly an answer. I do all my own Prime voices just because, for me, Prime and Megatron, I need them to sound a certain way. It's not that my voice, I think, is necessarily the best Prime voice, but I know I can say it the way I want it said. And there's a lot to be said for that. So I think my voices are okay enough, and so therefore I just use my own voice for Prime and Megatron, and as many of the main characters as I can justify my voice working for. Alright, let's get this live view back up. Okay, so what I was going to do real quick is jump back over here. Oh yeah, it's already open. In the Final Cut, so I had 3 steps, I believe. Wow, everything is so slow on my laptop right now. So I'm running Final Cut Pro, Dragon Frame, my streaming media software, OBS Studio, a webcam stream from my iPhone here, and then the actual YouTube live chat. So yeah, there's a lot going on with my setup right here. But yeah, so here's my sound effects. So I have 1 step, 2 steps, 3rd step on the wall, and then he flips and starts doing the transformation as he's flipping around. So that's what we want to do. Okay. Well, as they say, sometimes you just got to get started. So I'm going to take my Prowl, and I like to use putty because I do a lot of work on this plastic flooring, and this works great for being sticky, but yet where it doesn't, it's easy to get the residue off, and it doesn't leave anything on permanently. It's not actually adhering to this. It's just, but it does actually provide a decent suction and stick. And so for hard surfaces, this works really great. It's just like poster putty or tacky putty that you'd get at a Walmart or a Target or whatever your local store is called. So I just usually rip off some chunks to have ready along the way. Alright, so move that over here, and then what I'm planning on using is I have a couple of different armatures. I have this plastic one. I'm not sure if he'll support Prowl's weight or not. He's not an extremely heavy bot, so this may work. And I have there's a couple ends on here. There's this little crimping end, or I can take this off and just use a peg or whatever. So there's this one, and then I also have this one here, which is just has like the little alligator clamp on it. And the only thing is I don't like using this one too much is because I feel like it's going to damage the plastic on the toy because it's so sharp. And then here we have it just says wing nut to tighten. So we'll see if the plastic one's not strong enough, we'll end up using this one, or we might end up using both, depending on if that's what's needed. I'm not going to be concerned if Prowl is slightly out of focus when he's first running up, because his back will be to the wall, and also on top of that, when you actually take the actual picture, the full res picture, because I have the aperture set higher, as you notice, it gets actually sharper. So he will actually still be in focus, but it's just configured to be in focus where we're actually going to do the transformation directly. So we don't have to worry about the focus too much. We do, however, want to make sure his gun stays in his hand, and it does have a tendency of wanting to fall out. So he's going to be running with his gun. Probably, let's say more like this. Well, now, might even put a little tiny bit of putty in his hand. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that actually. I do this sometimes to help bots hold on to their stuff. Oh, sorry, I know screen is a little out of focus for you guys, but I think you get the gist of what I'm doing here. Just stick that all around. Shove it in his hand. Tear off a little bit of excess. Shove the rest up in there. It's not hanging out. There we go. Yeah. Mucho better. So, also, we're going to add some putty down onto his feet, even though he's going to be moving on them. We still want them to stay in place at different times, and so I'm going to fix a little bit here on just the front of his foot. I guess I'll do it over here so it doesn't push this thing through again like that. And luckily the feet are off camera, so I don't really care if they're sloppy or not. And then we're also going to add a little bit on the heel spurs as well. There we go. Alright, I think what I want to do, I want to try having this leg up when on the wall. So this will be the one he goes on the wall. So if this is step number 3, step number 2 will be approximately here, because he'll have to jump up to this point. So that will be step 2, and then on the running step, we'll get him. Step 1 will be here, and so we need him ready to step there. Alright, so that will be it's going to be running in from this angle here. Alright, get him up, propped up in the air just a little bit, and just to show you kind of one more time my setup here, let me just show you. Sorry, let me get to the right screen here. Show you this view here. So as you see, I try to prop up his foot here a little bit, so that way when first couple frames he can be stepping down, because it's only a frame or two in before he actually makes the first step. So I want him basically ready to step there. So that's where we're going to be doing that. We'll have the step happen first, and then we'll get right into the second step, and we may have to prop them up. The other thing that you'll want to keep in mind is that when you're doing this, I'm going to switch back over to my Dragon Frame view. When we're doing this, what we're going to want to do is be conscious of where the camera is compared to where the item that we're going to be propping up is. So it's much, much easier if you always keep the armatures and things between, or for the armature stuff behind the object, not in front of the object. So you don't want to clamp it like this, because then you have to try to edit this out or deal with part of it showing on your guy. And so, my light view turned off. So, all right. So you want to keep this on the back side, so you're only having to edit out, like, so if I had this like this holding him up, I only have to edit this part out then, the actual arm component. So something to keep in mind as we're doing this. All right, let's get this show on the road. So, oh, I just realized I never did my clean plate. I thought I grabbed that. Oh yeah, no, there it is. I just missed it. My screen is scrolled. Okay, cool. Great, we're ready. Let's take the first frame. All right, so we're gonna start having him go forward a little bit. And let's turn on onion skinning so we can see a little bit of the previous shot. That's too much. That's definitely too much motion. So, hope you guys can appreciate how much effort goes into making each frame look good. Because boy, oh boy. Again, don't worry about them being out of focus initially, because we have that all settled already. Just want to start straightening these out a little bit. And so what I'm going to do now is get a slightly larger blob, because I actually want his foot to be a little bit more in air than when I've been having it for the next. So it looks like it's actually more off the ground. I don't like this. So this is my process, guys. I'm telling you, I am very picky. If I don't like how something's looking, I start it over, especially if I'm only a few frames in. I didn't like this is what I didn't like about it. I should have probably pointed this out first. It did not look like he actually stepped down. So that was one thing I didn't like. I wanted it to be a more of an obvious step down. And the other thing I realized, I was actually aiming him initially towards the wrong direction. He needs to be facing the building more. Because he's actually running this way, not this way. And so I didn't even think about that when I first started. And so that is why I am redoing these couple of frames. Better to redo them now than try to fix them later. And this is part of animation. And this is why I like to do it live. It's completely unscripted. This is completely untested. I just do it as I would normally do it, so you guys can actually see what the process is actually like and what we go through as animators to make this stuff cool. So, all right, the other thing is I kind of broke my own rule. So for me, when I'm doing a running scene, if this foot is running forward, if this is the one going forward, this arm should be going back. This arm should be going forward. People run in opposites typically. Their legs and appendages go in opposite directions. So then when this goes like this, and then this leg goes up here, this one should go forward, and this one should go back. Like that. And that is a more normal running pattern. And so I actually was having him going forward and this moving up at the same time. That was another thing I did not like. So yeah, so those are the reasons why I decided to scrap those first few frames and start again. So here we go. Starting all over again. So I'm going to get my guy. Ready to, because it only takes like a couple of frames before he's touching the ground. So if this leg is about to go forward, that should mean that this arm should be basically back. This arm should be up here forward, because he's in the middle of a run. He's not starting a run, he's in the middle of a run at this point, because he's already started running from behind the trailer in the previous shot. So now we're going to have him aim more towards this direction here. So this should be a little bit better. Let's find out. And it's okay to get, I mean, he is moving pretty quickly, so I also got to remember that it's okay to have a little bit more motion than I would normally do. So that much motion in the middle of a run is actually not a bad thing. So we want it to look like he's actually going down when his foot lands there. And then he starts to bring this leg up. This all starts to swing the other way. See, you can see the pronouncement of the step now, which we did not have that before. This is already better. I need to lift his leg a little bit. Another benefit of actually doing the putty off screen is you don't have to worry about how messy it gets then. So we want to make sure that he's making forward motion though. See how that looks. Yeah, see how much better this one already looks compared to how it did before? My guy is starting to fall. I had to quickly take the picture. Alright. So now we're actually going to have a spot where he is pretty much off the ground, lifted into the air. So and have this guy. He just fell off. And then this is going to be lifting off like that. Get him pointed in the right direction. Give his hands a little more motion. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, that's already looking so much better. I'm glad I chose to redo that. And then now this is where he lands down. So he's going to have some downward motion. Flatten out some of that putty a little bit. And then this foot will be kind of in the air. Alright, so we got step 1, step 2. I just want to shift him this way a little bit. Yeah. Alright, so he needs to take a pretty good leap here to get this back leg all the way swung up here onto this wall. So we're going to have to give him a little bit of a jump, and then we're going to start taking him airborne. So that will be the next phase of this. So let's start getting him a little closer here. Now if this one's starting to move forward, we got to start bringing that arm down, bringing this arm back forward. Yep, that's looking good. Now this is gonna. We don't want to rush this because this is already pretty fast. So if you look at it, I'm heading towards this frame here at 19, and I'm already past the mid step. So I might have been a little bit fast on my last step. So we're going to need to see how this goes, and I might have to adjust this slightly afterwards. But yeah, so we'll want to keep an eye on this. He's got a lot of leg motion here, so you'll get several frames out of this. think instead of bringing this all the way down, I think I'm going to start having his arms kind of just frail out, because he's going to kind of start lifting himself off the ground. I don't like that one. Needs to be. Yeah, that's better. Just about ready to take him airborne. Give him a little bit of a scrunch downwards right at the end here. And then start pushing off. So let me go up like this. Now this is where I got to start watching it, because the putty's going to start coming into view here. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on that, and then start removing the putty or hiding it better along the way. Now we could paint it out, so if I have no choice but to have it in there, I'll paint it out afterwards. But the more I can hide and the less I have to paint out after the fact, the better. So, but yeah, this is like the last frame. Then now we got to start looking at how to take them airborne. So let's go ahead and give this armature a shot with the clip and see if we can get the clip hidden underneath the backpack here. So I think that's what my first plan will be. And we'll see how well this works. Well, if I can hold them up, I think it's going to actually work quite nicely. So, take some good old putty, stick it down on the base here too. I could use a weight, and I may have to weight it down, but we're going to try it this way first and see. Like I said, putty is my go-to thing. So, all right, so we need them to actually start lifting off the ground. So let's start seeing if this actually has the lifting power. Ooh, that's not great. I'm still supporting his weight with the ankle piece here. Well, let's see if this is enough to get us the next frame at least. Yeah, it is, but we need to get this putty off the foot here. Okay. This is where it gets harder. I'm going to start bringing his foot up as this one points down. Let me try tightening this joint here. definitely too loose. So, yeah, I just don't think this plastic one's gonna have the power here. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to go with the metal one. Alright, this is where having an onion skin makes all the difference. So, but I do have one idea, which I never thought of until just at this moment. I'm gonna try still using this clip, but then this time alligator clipping that, because I think that'll be a little bit nicer connection to the figure here. And I'll have to get this guy all repositioned. Alright, so now I should be able to start angling this guy to be how I want him to be. Tighten this more. I'm feeling this transformation is going to take a very long time. Yep, he needs to go higher. For starters, he needs to be more straight on. So his legs got to get there. Adjust the positioning. Let me just see how that compares to the previous. Alright, he just needs to actually be lifted off the ground. So, yeah, I might have to support this with my whole hand and just actually paint up my whole hand. I think that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. I will likely end up masking off this whole section and replacing it with that clean plate and keeping my hand there, just because I can give it more control and get into those specific spots better by doing it this way. So yeah, I think that's going to be the way to do it today. Alright, so this gun hand is coming down. So we need to bring that outwards. Almost straight. this is painful. Might just have to float my hand and hold him where I want him to be. So now, get his foot up higher. This needs to stay down. I thought this clip was going to be a great idea, but I'm starting to regret it. I was thinking that maybe I should have just used a different connector. Yep, I'm going to have to hold this one up again. Man. This better turn out good. That's all I gotta say. For all the work this one is. But at least you guys know what struggles I went through to try to pull this off. Now, at this point, we can get some assistance by getting his foot actually on the wall here. So that's going to help a little bit. It looks like I'm only about a frame early or two, early. So that's not terrible. That's not the right. All right, let me just take just a moment here, guys, and look through your comments here. So if anyone's got any some quick questions, now's the time to ask them while I'm looking. Scrolling back up here a little bit. Let's see. I guess I have a nice little conversation here without me. Red Panther, do you have any Masterpiece figures, or is this going to be your first one? If it's your first one, I would say MP10. You can't go wrong with MP10. You can't go wrong with Soundwave. Both those guys are awesome. So, but I think you're going to find yourself having more. An MP10 will fit into more stories than a Soundwave will, unless you have other characters that are closer to the same size. So Prime can always be a little bit bigger and get away with it. So that's something to think about. Let's see. Let's see. how many Lego parts I use to make this city? Oh my goodness, I have absolutely no clue. A lot. A lot of these are modular sets that you can find, that are ones that you can purchase. They're on average, I'd say 2,000 pieces per building. I would say is probably a pretty good average. I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it's 6 or 7 store-bought modular buildings. I have a police station that was store-bought, but the fire station was 2 different fire stations merged together that I created like a mod for. I just basically created my own fire station out of it. Custom built the gas station, custom built the black tower, custom built the hospital, and I'm working on another building right now, but that one I need parts for, and I ran out of money this month, so we'll have to wait a little while for that. Let me take a look here. Yeah, Dragon Frame. Like I said, I know Dragon Frame is expensive, and I know it prices some people out of it, and I get that. It priced me out of it for a while too, and but I cannot tell you the night and day difference this program makes compared to the other ones that I've used. Nothing touches this. Nothing. So I'm just being honest with you guys. Let's see. 30 frames per second stop motion. Yikes, dude, you're crazy. I prefer the MP10 Prime over the Movie Prime. Yeah, this stuff takes forever. Vector Sigma Volume 1 took me 9 months. This one, I'm about 2 months into actual recording footage. So I think I'll finish this one in about 4, but I didn't start it right away after the last one. So let's see. All right. I probably skipped over some of you guys' questions and stuff, and I apologize, but I just wanted to quickly check to see if there's anything glaring that you guys had questions about, maybe the scene specific, so before I get too much farther. All right, so now let's get back into what we were doing here. So let me turn my back over here. All right, so now he's stepping on the wall for the first time. So now we need to make it look like he's starting to push off, and then we want him to start leaning back. So we need to get a good push off. I need this to stay here roughly for right now. Okay, so I can. Going to start leaning this way. Just be a bit too much. Start tilting this way. There we go. That's probably too much. Let's see. Well, might be okay. Let's see. I think I actually prefer the gun down. So I'm going to delete that last frame. Yeah, because this looks more natural, like it's going to be staying more in that same line. Yep. Alright, now we can keep extending this leg. Keep getting him. Twist. Angle. And notice I am about 3 frames away from transforming them. So we're about ready to get to the mid-air transformation portion. So we got a couple more frames of getting him to lean back. Start spinning around. Alright, at this point, I'm going to have I'll start this transformation. We're going to take care of the gun in the middle of the transformation. We're going to hide it somehow. I don't really know how yet, but we're going to. Yeah, let's shoot this. Okay. I just realized I had this here. It's a little putty. I mean, I'm going to clean out the armature anyways, but anything you don't have to remove after the fact is wise to get out of the scene. So sometimes I get so focused on what's happening here, I don't even pay attention to some of the stuff down here. All right, well, he's going to start spinning in the air. He needs some motion away. A little less motion. All right. Transformation is going to begin here. Now, this has to happen fairly quick. So we're going to start by getting this arm this arm's going to be visible. This door is going to be pretty visible. We can do a lot of stuff on the other side. Like I can go ahead and fold this other arm up over here, and you can reach in, get these little side mirrors out of the way. Get that one up at least. And now he's going to keep spinning a little bit each frame. Let's see, not that much motion. Kind of cool. So if we spin his one half of his body, his legs can just fold up right into car mode. So we can actually start doing that right now. We'll just start getting some motion. The gun's gonna just start hiding back here underneath the legs, so we can get it out of the way. Let's see what that looks like. It's okay. I would like the legs to be up a little bit more. I think what needs to happen is his body needs to be coming down, and his legs need to be upwards. So we need to start having that motion. Let me see. I like how the legs are tucking in, but I don't really like how the front is looking. So we need to start spreading the front out a little bit more. That's actually going to be okay. At least I think it is. And so we're going to do one more time of tucking his gun up underneath his body. And then we're just going to disappear it. And so we're going to have to probably change the angle of this armature. Okay, so while I have it down, so this is one of the things I typically do. When I get it, I have to take it down anyways to reset. What I'll do is I'll get some of the little intricacies of the transformation out of the way. So I'm going to just go ahead and just kind of start looking at, I took off a piece of the Lego. Back. I can fix that in post then. So we'll see what we can actually get properly transformed, because you got to get these out of the way. This has to go down. We'll just start getting some of this. We don't want it all the way transformed, but if we can get parts of it out of the way, so it makes it easier for us to finish it up and to tighten it up later, and that's better. So we'll like keep some of this separated out, but this is where we can get this piece back up. That's really what the key is. do a little bit of this for the next shot. We'll go ahead and get this piece out. That's the other little windshield, or the rear veneer. You can start sinking his head in. Start bringing his arm in. And this is actually probably a good time for us just to go ahead and drop the gun too. Let's just make it disappear and get this putty out of his hand. So it's a little bit of quite a bit of the transformation that we just did, but that's okay. For one, I have a very fast transform sound, so he's going to transform pretty quick when he's in midair. So now what we want to do is we want to see how we can grab onto him. I'm thinking I'm going to grab him more by the legs or the waist area here, because that way he can start angling downwards. Yeah. Let's tighten this up. Alright, now let's get this guy positioned back. So we're going to start by matching up that rear wheel. See if we can get this roughly in the same spot. So now we got the rear wheel matched up. Now with the angles off, but that's okay. We want them moving at a downward angle anyway. So we're just going to go ahead and just move this down a little bit. Let's go ahead and turn this. See if we can flatten them out a little bit. Now this is going to be a pretty big jump because his body was up in the air. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just actually just going to lift. This thing's twisting on me. That's annoying. Yeah, that's really frustrating. Okay, so putty to the rescue. There we go. So in this case, I want to worry about lining it up more like halfway through. So his upper body, basically, I just don't want it to be quite so drastic. My goodness, why is this thing twisting on me so bad? Sorry, I gotta see which part's twisting on me. There, I think I got the twist fixed. We'll go ahead and try putting these legs back together. It's a little bit more than I wanted to transform right at this one shot, but do what you gotta do. Alright, let's see if we can get this guy to line up in a way that makes me happy. So we're going to try for right there. Now let's just see what that looks like. Yep, that's good. And so we're going to continue the twist forward, and we're going to bring out this hood piece and have it already out. Straighten that door. And we need to hide his head completely. We have room to start fitting the arms where they go. So bring in the arms in the spot that we like. Okay, bring the car down some more. Try to get my hand a little bit more out of the way. Keep that back section of the car more in line. So as you can see, this is nothing like how the toy, transforms as far as the way it looks. I'm just trying to make it look like it's turning into a car. And this is getting even more annoying back here too. Let's see if we can get this a little bit more stable. Okay, so it's time to change the plan now for the support. So as one support starts failing you, sometimes it's best to cut your losses and just start working on a new way of supporting it. So we're gonna just try propping it up with just the alligator clip and some putty first. I don't know if this will work. We're gonna find out. A little bit more here. Okay. Now I feel like I got it. Thought I had it secured. Guess not. Okay. No. A little bit more centered then. Sometimes putty does not save you, and you have to just come up with a completely different plan. And we might be getting to that point. So we'll see. See if I can get a few more frames out of this method or not. I'll be moving more forward. No! Curses, I should have took the picture. Oh, isn't this fun? Alright. I would add my putty. See, like I said, as long as the putty is not on the front of the car, as long we can clear all that out after the fact. So that's not a problem. So what I like to try to do is kind of match it up to where it was before, and then decide where I want the motion to take it. I think I want it to be down and like this, and a little bit more forward. A little more down. For some reason, if I would decide to redo this shot completely, I don't think I will. I think this is actually going to turn out fine once all the armature stuff is out. But if I did, I would definitely let you guys know, and so you know that this little style didn't exactly work for me. All right, I'm just gonna get some of his arms and stuff in place, and these little gun pieces, they're all in the way, so I just need to like finish getting him a little bit more transformed. I'm just going to get some of this stuff out of the way and just clean them up. So just gonna do this off camera a little bit just to make it a little faster. I was going to do a live stream of a combiner transforming, but knowing how long this live stream like this takes, I don't even know if I can fathom how long a live stream would be, because it probably would take me 12 hours to do that. So, especially if I was doing it live. So I don't think I'm going to end up doing that after all. Unfortunately. Alright, so I'm just going to get his legs done properly here. They weren't quite collapsing all the way like they're supposed to be, so there we go. The inside. Oh yeah, that's better. This other side here. Alright, so again, I like to do several big jumps of transformation along the way, and it really helps me kind of clean things up. So I'm going to try to keep them a little less transformed here. Stuck where you want. Start lowering them down some more. This puppy out of the way. That's good. Good spot right there. Just Z. I'm just kind of curious what this looks like. See if it plays better. Well, it played back really choppy, but this is not actually looking bad. It might be a little bit faster than what I wanted, but we will see. Okay, windshield. That window up there, that one's good. Okay, start. Which frame did what did I get? Oh, good, the camera did get it at the spot I wanted. He started tipping backwards, but I'm like, hey, that's the level I wanted. So I actually ended up getting a good frame out of that. So that's cool. All right. Probably pitch that. Clean this up a little bit more. I think I could probably finish the transformation. I don't think it's happening so fast. I don't even worry about little intricacies this time around. So I think we can do that. And I'm just going to make myself a little putty pillar. That's a patent pending name. There. Yeah. Hey, Trick Shot, you're not supposed to be giving away all the gory details. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, he does get hit by a tree. All right, let me go ahead and see what you guys have been talking about here real quick. Let me see if I got any questions out there. Yeah, Cardboard. I think those are the cowboy ones. I know I bought them as a pack off of eBay. The 3 set of lights. I will say this though, if you're gonna buy these, which I do think they work really well. I would highly recommend that you consider buying a pack of spare bulbs for both. It's a different type of bulb for the light above versus the ones um, down below. So let me show you my lights here just really fast. Give you a better feel for this here. So um, so the top light I have here. I'm gonna have to unplug my iPhone. So as you can see, it's a light here on a boom, and right now I have the boom coming over here, just down here next to my junk pile of stuff here. So that's the main light. This bulb is actually different. It's just a single. You can't probably see it because of the brightness of the light, but hopefully you can see it's just a single bulb inside of there. And so this one, you definitely want to make sure you have a spare on, because if you lose your top lighting after you start doing this, it's really killer. When this top light is off, it makes quite a difference. Let me show you. So the lighting difference here. So this is with the top light off, and then just changing the top light and turning it back on. It adds just a lot of fill light that's really valuable. So that top light makes a big difference. And then these two side lights here, these are just basically both on stands, and they're quad lights. And so if you could see in there, there's actually 4, and 2 are controlled at a time with the switch in the back. So you can have 2 on or 4 on or none on. And I have another one over here. And then I have a couple of those tall shop lights that light up my green screen that are on stands. You can see them back there in the background. So that is my 5-point lighting system that I typically use on my setups here. So hopefully you can see that okay. Let's see. Let's. My Carl was not being nice to me there for a little bit. So some of you guys are wanting to see what I have done already, huh? I could probably give you guys a little treat as to what at least scene 3 is looking like. It's nearly completed. How many more scenes do I need to shoot? All of scene 2, all of scene 4, all of scene 6 and 7. Sounds like a lot, but scene 6 and 7 are both short. Scene 4 and scene 2 are decent, but it's not too bad. So it's laggy when I'm moving the camera around, or is it laggy when I'm doing the stop motion as well? Is that really laggy for you guys? Yeah, if Trickshot, if you wanna take a plane over the pond and come over by me. You're welcome to come help me out. So. But, all right, let me give you guys a quick preview, because basically where I'm at right now is he's just landed. So I'm actually going to end up stopping the shot right here, and I'm going to actually cut to a different angle with him landing, and he's going to kind of bounce on the ground a couple times. So I'm actually going to change the angle. So I won't be showing probably any more stop motion. So, I mean, all this time, we've taken 38 frames. That's like a second and a half. It's kind of crazy, but that's why this stuff takes me forever. All right. And not everything is quite like this one. When you're trying to suspend every single frame, everything takes a long time. But let me go ahead and just quit out of Dragon Frame for the moment and bring back this. This might end up still being a little laggy, but it's something. You guys can see how scene 3 is. I'll just kind of warn you, there is a couple spots that I'm still working on the effects for, and this part with Prowl, I added new sound effects for what I'm looking for, but you're not going to see. You're going to see a black area where there's no picture. While this is the part I kind of scrapped and I'm changing. So basically, what's going to happen is Prowl's going to land on the ground. He's going to go a little ways. He's going to get shot at some more. He's going to be forced to transform. He's going to return fire. He's going to knock back. He's going to transform again, and then he's going to speed off towards Thundercracker. So the whole time, Thundercracker is throwing a barrage of lasers at him, pretty much nonstop. So we're going to have him do a little bit more during this black section, but then most of the rest of the scene is done, with the exception of right after Astrotrain hits Prowl, then that shot there is all still temp. Yeah, Astrotrain's transformation and this part here is still temporary pictures. So this is not animation. So don't get mad at me for this part where Prowl actually gets shoved into this. I will be doing it because I needed to be at this side of the street in this angle to do this animation. So this will be something I'll be doing right after I finish this Prowl sequence. I'll be doing this. That should complete scene 3 for the most part. So. Alright, so here is your preview of Vector Sigma Scene 3 as it is currently. Let me get to the beginning of it. And this is just it as I have it right now. So hopefully this plays decent for you guys. So here we go.
Optimus Prime. Bumblebee, get Spike to safety. Hand over the human, and I will let you live. You'll have to go through me, Megatron. With pleasure. Hold still, Autobot Scrap.
Okay, now it's my turn.
This is the black scene where I don't see him yet.
Ooh, you can actually feel the effects. I wish we could have seen this movie in 3D.
Yeah? You sure you want the movie to jump out at you?
Bravo! Time to die, Autobot! My hand!
So that is scene 3. It was probably pretty laggy, is my guess. So hopefully you guys got something out of that. But so you guys didn't see any of that video? Oh, seriously, was I on the wrong camera view? No way. Wow. Sorry, guys. That's embarrassing. So you didn't see that video. Alright. Well, you guys want me to play it one more time, or do you guys not want me to go through that again? I apologize. I had the wrong view on. Yeah, I screwed up the video, so I apologize for that, guys. It was on the. I didn't realize I was still on the iPhone camera at the time, so. Yeah, I'll just go ahead. If you guys want, I'm gonna just play it through one more time, and then I'm gonna go ahead and end the video. So hopefully you guys can actually see it this time. Oh man, again, sorry about that, guys. I didn't realize I was on the wrong screen. So we'll do it one more time. Hopefully it's not too laggy, and you guys can get something out of it, and we'll just kind of go from there.
Optimus Prime! Bumblebee, get Spike to safety. Hand over the human, and I will let you live. You'll have to go through me, Megatron. With pleasure. Hold still, Autobot scrap!
Okay, now it's my turn.
This is the blast.
Ooh, you can actually feel the effects. I wish we could have seen this movie in 3D.
Yeah? You sure you want the movie to jump out at you?
Bravo!
Seems like some of the sound effects aren't matching the video.
Time to die, Autobot. My hand!
Do you think Prime and the...
Alright, well, hopefully that worked out. It looked like it might have gotten a little out of sync as the scene went on, just with from what I was hearing in my headset versus what you guys were seeing on the live stream. It's a little hard to tell, but hopefully that gives you guys an idea. But don't worry, when it comes out in the end, you'll be able to see it in all of its glory, and it will be perfect. And you guys should really enjoy it, I think. So, yeah, there's some really cool stuff in this scene. I start going back into a little bit of the origin. Originally, I was going to do a previously on Vector Sigma and show a little bit about what was going to happen, or what happened on the previous episode. But then I decided, you know what, people can just watch Volume 1 if they want to know what happened in Volume 1. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of an origin piece. It's about 30 seconds long. It's not going to be very long, but it's going to, over the next couple of volumes, I'm going to kind of explain, because there's lots of different origin stories for Transformers. So which one am I using, right? So am I doing, just like the G1 cartoon, or am I doing like War for Cybertron? Am I doing however, am I doing my own thing? Well, to answer that, I'm doing my own thing. It takes from a lot of different previously established versions, but I'm explaining why did they leave Cybertron, what happened, when did they get to Earth, etc., etc., etc. So my brother's doing some really cool stuff with some 3D models, and he's making me some 3D background sets for some of my Cybertron shots and arc shots, and that's it's going to be pretty cool. But I think you guys are going to enjoy it. I have tons planned for my Vector Sigma series. It's going to be at least 10 volumes long. It's going to go through just a ton of stuff, and I'm not going to rush through it. I want to take my time. I want to explore stories. I may have some offshoot episodes that might involve side episodes that's just about a character. Maybe it didn't fit in my main story, but I wanted to show more about what happened to a certain character, or how did they get to where they were. I kind of would like to do one for Skyfire or Jetfire, however you want to call them. But I think it'll be neat. I might have some movie figure crossovers in this. This is loosely set in G1. I'm not being strict about it, but I already had Barricade show up in Vector Sigma Volume 1, so I may have a few more movie crossover as it makes sense. But yeah, so I'm excited to show you guys what I've been thinking about and what I've been scripting and stuff for a long time. And like I said, I wish I could do this full time and bring these out to you guys a lot faster, but unfortunately I can't. So we'll just have to do them as we can, and hopefully you guys can enjoy the process with me a little bit. Appreciate you guys sticking around, watching through some of this. I know stop motion animation is not an exciting thing to watch, but hopefully you guys got some tips and tricks out of it to help your own stop motions. And you're always welcome to ask me questions. I'd be happy to answer them. And we'll go from there. Oh yeah, and I will be releasing a trailer for Volume 2. So because it keeps getting pushed back, so I don't know if any of you guys know this or not. I've mentioned this in a previous episode or previous live stream, but I do have a section where Omega Supreme is in this. And I had paid for my Fans Toy Omega Supreme Masterpiece Scale Omega Supreme back in February in full. And I am just simply waiting for it to actually come in the mail. And unfortunately, I didn't get Part A separately. Mine comes shipped together as Part A and Part B. So I don't get any of it until the whole thing is released. And now they're projecting that it won't be out until sometime in October. And so if that's the case and I don't get mine till October, that means Scene 6 is going to be only partially animated until I can get Omega Supreme, because I want to include him in this episode. I have a very specific purpose for him. So, so I'm going to include him in this series. So this might delay things, but if I end up getting to a point where I have everything else done and I'm just waiting on him, then what I'll do is I'll start recording some stuff for Rivals Part 2. So, but and Omega Supreme is going to be humongous, and it's going to be very hard to shoot him and keep him in frame. So we'll see how good I can do. But it is going to be cool, I can tell you that. So I think that's all I have, guys. Do you have any more stuff that you want to ask questions about? Now would be a good time. I'll give you a few seconds, because I think there's about a 20-30 second lag from when I talk to when you guys start responding on the live chat. I don't know. I think I prefer Mega Supreme's normal face, but that's just me. All right. Well, I appreciate the guys that managed to stick around through most of this. I know it was a long one here. We're just over 2 hours, and I try to keep these things pretty close to 2. So we're going to call it here. But again, as always, you're welcome to hit me up on Instagram. You're welcome to hit me up on Facebook. I do have a Twitter account out there that I look at on occasion. And then you're also welcome to add comments. I try to respond to all the comments on any of my videos. So feel free to let me know. So you have a few more questions? That's fine. I could stick around for a couple more minutes. You're asking if I have the Classics, Optimus Prime, and Megatron. Are you saying like the original Classics ones? If so, yes, I do have them. They're up there on a shelf somewhere, I think. I did get some of the Titan Returns figures. She have a fair number of them. I didn't get them all. Let's see. Can you look up Five Nights at Freddy's? Not sure why I would do that. I'm not a big horror film guy. So, all right, I'm super happy you're excited, and I guess we'll end it right there. All right, thanks again, guys, for watching. This has been TransGoJobot with Graf-X Motion. Have a great day.